Sorry, I had my speakers turned down. Didn't hear you if you were talking to me.
And good morning, everybody. This is the Hawkeye session. This Friday, November 13th. And we'll be going until about 9:30 this morning. And so be careful, it's Friday. A lot of profit taking goes on, or a lot of position taking gets put on. So there's always, sometimes just never quite sure which way things to go, but then we never do. So anyway, trading the foreign exchange on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. The high degree of leverage can work against you as well as for you. Before deciding to invest in the foreign exchange, you should carefully consider your investment objective, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of the risks associated with foreign exchange trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. This is a live trading room, and it is for educational purposes only. No financial advice or recommendation will be provided. Any trade taken during this live session is not a recommendation or a suggestion that you should also do the same. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Do not trade money you cannot afford to lose. Before trading live, always operate with a written trade plan that identifies the rules for entries, exits, targets, and risk management. And with that, we're going to go to the charts, and we're going to be looking at the British USD. And you can see we had the alert at 7:15 this morning. It was an ascending wedge, which basically we're looking at this thing's moving from low to high. And we came up, and I see we had some divergence right up here in the on this 15-minute chart. We had a higher high.
Now we can't see your screen.
You can't see. Oh, I guess let me. Thank you. There we go. Now I bet you can see it.
Yes, that's better.
Okay. We had the alert at 7:15, and we had a little divergence right here on the 15-minute chart. We had a high, higher high, and then a high and a lower high on the RSI. Just gave us a little bit of divergence, came back down, gave us our third hit on our trend line. Basically, I was drawing the trend line with this, going from this move here, from this strong move up, came back down. Here's our retest of the trend line, came back up, and here's where we got the alert. And so what I did is I drew up, since this area was kind of hard to draw the box or the wedge, I just drew a box over this 15-minute candle. This 15-minute candle is a red candle, and then the blue candle where the wedge alert was engulfing that red candle. So right now, this thing's trading inside the box. And on the lower time frame, we had a, you can see where we had where the divergence was, it came back down, came back up, stalled a little bit right in here. So this was a drop, base drop. It just came back up and retested that box. Let me see something here. And it came down, retested the box. This is the retest area, and now it's looking like it may try and come down and break down to the bottom over here. We do have the dollar strength on all 4 time frames. This was right after the retest. It did flip over as it came up and retested this retest area. And now it's looking like it's coming back down to retest the bottom of the wedge. If it breaks down, we did have a little breakdown, came back up. It did retest, it came back down, retested here, it came back down. And this was a little bit of a head fake. Came back up, retested the box. So right now it's trading inside this range right in here, coming to retest the trend line once again. And we'll see if it's going to break down with that. I do have a channel, which you can see where it kind of broke this channel right here on the retest. And right now it's just range bound, right? It's range bound between the top of this, inside this channel. This was the retest. And we're going to see it was retesting the wedge right now. And we're just going to wait and see where we're going. We do have all the moving averages are in the correct direction to, not quite yet. Right now, these are flipped a little bit too. We have a consolidation of these moving averages all right in this little area right in here. So we're just trying to see which way this thing's going to break. If we look at the 5-minute chart, you'll see that it came down. It broke the 5 period 62, broke it, came back down, retesting it right now. And over here we have all of our moving averages on this. They're starting to flip over here at the top. So right now, this is not a real clean wedge to take the trade right now because there's too much consolidation going on. Once it breaks out of this box, either to the upside or the downside, we may have a trade. Right now, this moving average, this 1562 is outside of this range bound. This thing could come down, break, tag this, test it, and give the to the upside on all the others.
Al, we've also had a couple of new alerts at 8 o'clock.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
US Swiss and Aussie US.
Let's
Both
go with
ascending.
the Aussie US on this. Let's see. We're gonna go. Hang on. Let me just double check the. I still kind of like this British US as a long. I'm going to do with a buy stop up here on the top. If it breaks out of the wedge, we're going to do a buy stop at the top of the wedge, which is going to be right about 31.73. Right about 31.73, and do our take profit of, I'll go with 14, stop of 10. I'm going to set that trade, and we're just going to see if I'm going to set an alert if it gets in there. And let's see, now the next one was the Aussie US, you say?
Yes. Yes.
And it was ascending or descending?
That was ascending at 8 o'clock.
At 8 o'clock, thank you. So ascending, here's 8 o'clock, ascending. So it's still coming low to high. We have nice little strong move up, came back down. This is a basing area right in here, is what it's doing. Strong move up, came back down about halfway through, basing. We have a little bit of our, this whole area right in here was where this thing broke. I like this area right here. It looks like this could be a drop base drop to retest the bottom on the here. So this is where I'm going to be doing Aussie US. I'm going to identify this range right here. If we can draw wedges on here, I like to, but sometimes it's easier just drawing the box and figure out what the range is going to be. It all basically boils down to being the same thing. So here's our, you can see where it's decent, we have lower highs and higher lows as it's consolidate in this area. And I would say that this is it came back down, came back up, it couldn't break through the top of this. This 15-minute candle has a nice little wick on it. Right now, everything's engulfing inside of this region. So once it breaks to the bottom, we have this little area right here we have to be looking at. I want to take a note of that. This is on that move up. Here's the rally, base, rally. This is actually a retest of this area, of this rally right here. This would be a retest zone. Range box. Let's go retest. Retest is right there. There's our retest. And it looks like we're starting to, let's see, the Aussie, if this, right now the Aussie is showing the strength to the downside. So it'd be strength to the, Aussie showing strength. So that's saying that the strength is to the upside of this move. Aussie's the first currency of the pair. If it breaks to the top of here, we could probably take this. I'm going to put a buy stop in on this one as well. I'll go for 14 pips, I'll go for 10 pips. And if it breaks to the top of this, I better get this right, get this thing right before I get this up top here. And look and see where our target would be. And so I'm looking at, we had strong move down, came back up, retested this area up here. This is pretty much where my take profit is. I'm going to bring this down right about into this area because I'm looking at this is going to be a, if it comes up, this is going to be the area that's going to be looking at to take the profit. And I like this area right up in here. This is right where this thing was retested. This would be the supply zone. So we had supply up here, came back down. Now it's retesting this area. If it can break through this area right in here where this retest zone is, it could give us a little head fake on the downside. It could give us a little head fake on the upside. But from the top of this box to here, where this would be the retest, looks like we have plenty of room to take profit. And that's 11 pips, so you can get your 7 pips out of there. And we'll wait and see. Any questions?
When you have a moment, can you let Christine in the room, please?
Oh, yes, we can. I'll do that right now. There we go. And we wait. So let's take a look and see how our British, see what anything happened with the British.
I'll have a quick look at the Swiss to see if it's worthwhile.
Okay, yeah, take a look at that one, see if that. So right now we're having another retest. We came up here, retested our retest zone, pulled back out, retested the wedge, and now this thing looks like this thing's moving to the upside. I like where we had this, the trend line. We have a trend line from the B to the D. I'll just make this one a little bit heavier. Here's a retest. So here's the confirmation right here of the trend line. And right now it came back to, it broke it, came back down, it tested it, broke through it, came back, retested the line again, and now we're seeing if it's going to continue. I do like this, and we have to have, we have the break of the trend line, and we have another line coming here from the bottom to the upside. Here's where it broke the initial trend. It's actually forming its own little lower highs and higher lows here a little bit. So broke this trend line, it broke this trend line, so broke both on both sides of the trend line right here at the supply zone. So now the question is, where is it going to continue? I'm still favoring it to the upside. We seem to have a little bit of strength to the the British pound is strong on all 3 time frames. It retested the retest zone twice, came back in, and once it can break through the top of this thing, it came in, just tagged me in on this, but up here's gonna be my target. Looking at, and yeah, we're looking at the target right up here where the top of this trend started. If it can break through this zone here, we're looking at this to be target 1, this to be target 2.
The US Swiss is still, well, we've got another minute to close the 15-minute 8 o'clock candle. So, but it's kind of, right now it's just ranging for a minute.
Okay, well, we're just going to let it range then for right now. Right now, this will give us our almost 6 pips if it comes up to retest this area right here, if we can get that break. I'll be using this as my first target, and once we come over here, we can see pretty much you can maybe get, if it breaks the D, you're going to be looking at this little area right in here. We have a wick. We have lots of wicks coming on up, so we have some range right in here. That's going to be could be a little bit of a challenge if it does get up this high. This would be the next retest zone. This would be supply. I probably won't give it quite. I probably will take my trade if it does get up here. I'll probably take my profits right here at target 1. If it gets up there. I'm still finding some problem getting through this area in here, but we'll see. Got a lot of lines that's going on here. Let me take some of this stuff off. This is where it bounced, came off the 562. So right now it's showing some strength to the upside from the moving average standpoint. We did get the crossover. We have everything moving in the right direction. Although everything's still moving in the right direction on this. Green, yellow, white on the 1 minute.
Actually, Christine just pointed out we just got another alert, a descending Euro US.
Okay.
So alert heaven, she calls it.
Alert, yeah, we're getting lots of alerts today. Lots of movement. Euro USD. Let me go take a look at that on another chart here. I'm gonna keep an eye on this one since I'm in this trade on this one. It's just fun. You can see where there's a lot of buying and selling activity all inside this range right here. So when it breaks, it's probably going to break pretty hard. Everything came up, pulled back out, came up, pulled back out, came up. Now the question is it going to pop back up here? Came in here, popped up, base, pulled back down, retested the area, back down, retested it. There's a lot of, everything's going on right in this area. Once this thing can break, and I think we're going to be looking at a move to the upside. It's tested this thing. In fact, it's trending, breaks, come back down, made a higher low, break, goes up, comes back down, makes a higher low. Once it can break through here, then it's starting to actually start to trend a little bit. If it can break through the top of this, we'll be fine. And if we could probably put our stop pretty much right at the bottom of this apex of where these two trend lines meet. I put the stop down here. We could probably just keep the stop down around the 562 range.
We even had another alert, a descending Euro US, but I know you're in the middle of this. I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me go and take a look at that on my other screen here and see if it is worth looking at. And what was it? What time was it? Okay. And what was it going? What was the direction?
8:15.
It was at
8:15
and a descending Euro. Yeah.
Okay. Looks like it coming down, retest a 30 minutes 62. Let me go put that on up here. This was the Aussie. Still looking at that. That one's still hanging in there. Hasn't broken through the top of that yet. There's a Euro US. $8.15. If it breaks, I see descending, so that means I like this drop. Here's a base drop, came back, retest this area. So I'm going to have a trend coming on down. It was a descending wedge. And if it breaks the bottom of this little area right in here, we're looking at a retest of the 30 minutes 62. And let's see here. Here would be the wedge, the low to the high. Here's where the alert was. We'll take it right down here to the bottom of that and move it on up. And here's where we have to be careful. Here's the break right here. We're going to look for a clean break and come back to retest the trend line. We do have this area right in here where we have the bottom of the A. I'll see a little bit of a break of this area, come back up, retest it, and then retest to come down here. So I'm looking at something a little bit like this, where get a break, come down, retest, and then come back down, retest this area. Looks like the British pound's giving us a little bit of trouble too.
We're a little inundated this morning.
Yeah, it's been all over the place here. We got lots of alerts, but they're all going doing the same thing. They're giving us a little bit of a head fake and then coming back out. They seem to be somewhat range bound. This thing can close below this candle right in here. If it can close below that, which it could not, it came back down. It couldn't close below the A. This is where I usually have that box that says I want to see it close below. I just see it close inside this box here. And I couldn't do it right there. And we'll see. Let's take a look at our British pound, see how it's doing. Oops, I lost it here. Here's where we entered it. It's still hanging in there. Somehow I lost my drawing on it though. I still think the British pound has room to the upside if it can hang in there.
Al, we're seeing your euro US.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out where I put my.
Oh, your pound
Yeah, my pound. I'm trying.
drawings.
I must
Sorry.
have redrawn it. I think, but I'm gonna have to probably redraw it again. We'll keep an eye on this one. I'm going to set an alert on. Let's see if I can set an alert on this one here. Let me put a trend line on up on this one.
Looks like the US Swiss is breaking to the bottom.
I don't all my charts. I seem I must be having a senior moment this morning here.
It's Friday. All is forgiven on Friday.
Let me get some other charts up here. So here's our Euro US. We're going to put our British US on this one. Let me just check something else out here. Our British up here. Here's the alert. This was at 7:15 this morning. And we had our trend box. This is the box we drew where we were looking at for the range. And basically, if it broke out of the top of the box, we'd be looking to go long. It just tagged us into it. Move this down to the bottom, which that's 23 pips. That's a little bit more than I'd like. I'm going to move it up about halfway. I'll move up to just about bottom third of this. If it comes back in, I'll just get out of it and then reevaluate. I'll take the 10 pip loss on that if need be. And this is a range box. There we go. And over here was a rally. This is a little basing right in here on this chart. Looks like the British pound is giving it up and starting to, this one's probably going to get stopped out. We had a rally. Here's the basing. So we're testing that range right there. This will be a retest. I'm just going to move this right on up in there. Basically, it's staying inside this 15-minute candle. It's trading right inside this 15-minute candle from the upper part and the lower part. And actually, this zone is actually fairly wide. It's a 20 pip range. See where our fib lines are. Our moving averages are in the right direction to go long. It's doing a little bit of a whipsawing, so right now it's kind of range bound. Not a great
You ever
trade.
you ever have those days where your computer's just not working?
Is it you're having one of those days today?
Mm-hmm. It took me half an hour. It's pathetic.
Happy to have you aboard.
Yeah, welcome back.
All right. What do we?
Well, we're getting kind of whipsawed here a little bit on. So we got a lot of alerts, but they all seem to be somewhat range bound, and there's no real clear direction outside. It's well, on the British pound, it looks like it's about 21 pip range, but it seems to be using most of it from high to low. This is where the alert was. This was a 15-minute candle that is engulfing where the alert was, and it was ascending. So we did have a little bit of a trend line going on up, but it seems to be coming into these retest zones here. There's a little zone, rallied base, rally, came back, retested. That was where the alert came in. So we have a little bit of a trend to the upside, but I'd like to see it break, and it just basically tagged me right in here to get me into the trade. And now it's pulling back to pretty much the full extent of this range. But here's the anchor. Here's the first hit, and we're still looking for. This is the second hit of this trend line. So right now this trend line is being tested right here.
Okay.
And so we don't know. And then we had the Euro US. Let's see what time it is. It's 8:30. Now we have the Euro US where it came back down. We had the wedge alert, came back down, broke it. Now it looks like it's trying to break to the downside. It looks like the dollar is starting to gain a little bit of strength over on this one. Dollar is gaining some strength on the British pound. So this one could be, if we get a close inside this area, we could be looking at the test of the 30 minutes 62 on this. So we may take this one short if we get this one to confirm.
Oh yeah.
This one actually looks pretty good. Yeah, I like this one to the downside.
It actually does. Yeah, look at your moving average crosses on the 1 and the 5, and then all your whole moving averages are short. So it might.
Yeah, so I like this as the target area right here. Looks like we're going to get a close. How much time do we have here? We have 2 more minutes. There's the break. Let's see how much room we have to where that moving average line is. We only have about 5 pips, but it could go lower than that. But that's be the first target right there.
Oh, it's a big candle, Al.
It is.
Wow. I'm gonna go bring up Euro US on here. Oh yeah, look at that 30 moving average.
Take a peek at our British pound. That's still hanging in there. I know all eyes are on the Euro US as we broke through the bottom of this. Where's my chart here? That's the one I want. And I'll put this one on the Aussie. We had Aussie. We had lots of alerts this morning.
Right. A lot more than usual.
Well, we had about 4 of them, I think, all within about 15 minutes of each other.
Wow. I'd be cautious, Al.
Yes.
Because right now, if it breaks 1807, then maybe you might have a deeper target. But look at that big rejection wick.
Oh, here on the 5 minute.
Yeah, that's really big.
How much time we have? Another 10. Yeah, that is a large rejection. That's for sure.
So we'll see what happens. It could more than likely go all the way down, though.
Well, this is a retest.
Yeah. Look at the moving averages. I love this.
Oh, yeah, but that was only like 4 pips before it got down here.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's scale that threw me off. And I thought it was, but that it just dominantly broke down there. Let's see what happens.
It's kind of at an extreme right now.
Yes.
I think it's going to go higher.
Yes.
I think this was a head fake.
I think it's going to drop again and then potentially get a go up.
Let's see where we have up here. May come up and retest the trend line. We don't know. All we can do is project. Thing I'm a little concerned about, this is a strong 15-minute candle moving up from the overnight.
Very strong.
And it came right down into these wicks and came right back up again.
Mm-hmm. It's like the central banks or the people with the big money said, "You're not going down there."
Yeah, I mean, this is a
that was a hard
strong,
rejection.
That's a hard rejection off of a very strong zone here.
It's like saying, "No, not happening tonight, guys." Oh, that's a big piece out.
Yep. Let's see where our moving averages are on this. Had the rejection off the 15. This is going to be somewhat range bound. We have a strong rejection up here as well.
Ooh. GU. I got it crossing my trend line. Hold on. I want to see what's going on here. Oh, short.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see.
British pound, if that's going short, that's strength of the dollar. That means the strength of the dollar on, let's see, how's it looking here? This is dollar strength. The dollar's got a 5, a 4. Dollar is strong to the euro, and looks like the dollar is strong to the British pound. If this thing can break through this point right up in
There's
here.
another big wick. Look at that. It's like one's following the other.
A lot of whipsawing going on. Right now. Yeah, right now we're showing dollar strength, no dollar weakness.
Well, now.
Well, no, it's mixed right now. It's mixed between the euro and the euro.
Yeah.
The dollar is strong to the euro is strong to the dollar, but the dollar is strong to the British pound.
Right now, it looks like GU just did what Euro USD did.
Yeah.
It came down. It not as flamboyant of a I don't know, demonstration, but it came down.
I like this for a target for the euro. That's
left a really big wick.
I think 1828.
And now GU's doing it.
1828.
There's a correlation.
This thing's strong right now.
Holy smokes.
So we're looking at euro dollar weakness, euro strength is where I'm looking at on this one. Let's see if it can come up here and hit this. Let's see, where's my D up here? It's got a little bit of an area it's got to get through off this one right up in there. Nice little break of this trend line. It's also retesting this area right in here.
I'm just watching the relationship between the Euro US and the GBP USD.
Right now, they're both going up together.
Mm-hmm. And they're so similar. Even the wedge looks similar.
Yeah, the
Actually,
whole
I'm going to
pattern looks
adjust mine.
The whole pattern looks similar, doesn't it?
It really does.
So what is that telling us?
So it broke out of the bottom of my wedge. Now it's broken at the top. Oh, yeah. It's so tempting. All right, yeah. I'm going to try something. GU.
Now, listen, we don't need this one anymore. We
No.
don't need this anymore.
Mhm.
This one's still good. This is still our retest zone here. And up here we have on this one, I would say this is going to be, if it gets up in here, I would get out of the trade.
That's a big move, Al. These are very very nice moves for a Friday. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wicks though. I'm looking
Yeah,
at the
there is.
30-minute chart, and the wicks are the same size or bigger as the previous candles, and there's wicks at both ends of the candlestick, which means there's so much indecision. At least at the 30-minute. At the 5, it's getting, I don't know, not too bad, but see what's going on here.
I still want to see it get up there, up to the euro, get up to this 1828 level. If you're in that trade, you may want to take some profits right in this area between these two. Don't give up a winning trade.
No, not a good idea. It's ranging pretty good, Al. Like the distance between the tops and the bottoms are just, it's big enough that a person could almost take the top and then the bottom and not even worry about the breakout.
Seems to be respecting this candle right in here, which is where the crossover was. But if you got in on this retest, you got you had your 7 pips up here. Let's see what the total range of this is from, let's say, the middle of the retest box to the middle of this one. That's 14 pips. That's 2/3 of our 21 pip moves that we talk about. This is a rally. It's spacing a little bit. If this thing goes from a rally, if this thing pulls back, let's see if it pulls back to the trend line, depending on how far it pulls back. This was a strong move up. Let's say it pulls back, let's just say it pulls back to within our 40%. Then our target would be up around this area. Let's say between here and here. Slide that over and see what it hits. Boom. That'd be the target. depending on how far it pulls back. If it only pulls back this far, that puts us right here at the 78, right into the middle of that box. If it pulls back all the way back to the trend line, puts our target right up into this zone right in here, still right within a couple pips where that target is. We do have us starting to get a nice little spread on the 62 and the 13. And it's 8:45, another 15 minutes, and we'll have our 9 o'clock. We oftentimes get a big move just before 9 o'clock. This is a little bit early. That British is just ranging inside that big candle that we had earlier on the alert. Is just ranging inside of that, just basing this entire region. Poked his nose up just a little, just a touch right here. This is that candle. This is that red candle right there where it ranged. Nice big red candle before the alert. What's our Aussie doing? Still hasn't done anything yet. We have a buy stop right up in here. It's just now starting to materialize here. Let's see what it does. Let's set an alert on this if we can. We just got into the Aussie trade long on that buy stop. If it can break that, heading on up to the 72.60 area. I'll put my target right there, pretty much right there at the top of this red candle. If it goes in, that's about 7 pips.
Aussie.
So we had an Aussie, we had a British, and we had a Euro US, all within about 15, 20 minutes of each other.
Huh.
Oh, and a Swiss. We had a Swiss one in there too.
Oh my gosh.
I haven't even looked at that one.
Yeah.
That
we
one
take-
did really well to the downside.
Did you say it broke well? Then it broke to the
Oh, yeah.
downside
Yeah,
in a big way.
yeah.
Well, maybe we need to start looking there for a while. The Swiss was just giving us all kinds of headache, and maybe they're starting to play nicely again.
Yeah, it's actually doing well. It's still heading down, and it went down, what, 15 pips or so,
Huh.
and it's still heading down. It's kind of faltering right now, but it's still going down.
Aussie was descending, correct?
Aussie? I think it
Yeah.
was descending, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Or was it? Or no?
Ascending. It was
It was
ascending
Oh.
Ascending.
at 8. Yeah.
So we have an ascending wedge on this one we'll go from here to here. And we have a little bit of, what time was that, Christine?
8 o'clock now.
8 o'clock.
Yes.
And so this was the range just before the alert. Here's our 15-minute. This is our range that we're playing in right now.
I got a really nice trend line on Aussie US on the bottom. So that's why I'm not surprised that it broke up to the top like it did. It's still within the...
So looking at this area right here, if it breaks, I like this red candle there. So we have the close above this red candle. And our range, here's a wick up, can be down.
These are basically all head fakes though. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of them are, yeah.
There's no getting into this one with a tight stop loss. You'd need like a 10 pip stop loss.
Yeah, that's pretty much what the British was too. That was about, actually, it ended up being about 23 pip stop loss on the British.
Really?
When it broke out, yeah.
Yeah, it's too excessive. Because the bigger you make your stop loss, the less profit per pip you're going to make.
Yep.
Then you got to count the cost and see if it's worth being in there.
Yeah, I do like this little, we have a little doji right here so there was a lot of action pretty much right in, well, here's where all the action is right inside this range right here.
So some people got their butt handed to them. I know if I was trading at that time, like right in the last hour, I would have got my butt handed to me too.
Mm-hmm. But see, right now we have this range right here is that we're pretty, actually, the range that we're looking at on this Aussie is we're looking at pretty much the whole overnight range between, now here's where we had the alert, which is pretty much right in the middle of this range right here. So this is the overnight range. And this was yesterday's high up there. So I'm going to put a trend line on that. There was a little bit of a trend here that got broken. We have this trend. This one got broken. And so this is where this was descending. This came back up. So here's where this thing's coming up to looks like this thing's coming up to retest that area. Yesterday's high, I see that yesterday. Here's yesterday's high all the way up here. Here was the test. Let's see what this one looks like. Here's where the break was right in here off of the high. It broke up, came back and retested this higher time frame. I think it's going to probably go long. I like this trend right here. I like the fact this thing got broken, came back, retested the wedge. And now I can see where this thing might go from this area. Let's take it from here to here. Here's the pullback. 40% pullback. Target would be up around this area. And if I put the target up there, I have 1,278. Slide it on over, see where it hits. It's right in these wicks right in here. I like that. I like that for a target for this one. And that'd be 17 pips. That'd be 72, and see if there's a fib line there. Anything else to confirm it? Yep, there's a fib line. Here's our demand zone. Our demand zone would be up in this area. This would be a nice little range here. Just breaking through coming out of the demand, coming up right up into, this would be the middle range of the whole move, which is pretty much all this area right in here. I like this to the upside.
Yeah, I want a lot of pips too. Hmm. Sorry, guys, the little guy's around.
He's just learning dad's craft.
Yeah, and it's like not 1 pip, Daddy, 10 pips, and that's lots of mountains.
Cute.
Now, if this thing breaks out of here, if it can break up, I would look at this as being a retest zone. You can see all these candles right in here. This is area right up here is kind of a retest as well. It's going to retest this high. If it can break through, it's going to go up higher.
Hmm. He just licked the box. And he just told me it's gross. Oh my goodness.
And we're right at the 9 o'clock close. Just close the 9 o'clock candle.
Oh, let's see what's gonna happen now. This looks so messy. It's not even, I don't even know.
Actually, I kind of like this one up to here.
That's a decent move.
Yeah.
Let me see something.
Right now it's cleared this wick right here. Yeah, I feel very comfortable about this one here. I'm gonna keep my stop on the other side of this. This 11 pips, that's close, that's reasonable. Look at our moving averages. Everything's moving in the right direction. We did have the test of the 30, which was right now came back up, retested the 30, and now it's moving back up off of that. Everything's still moving in the right direction. And we have the 5 and 13 have crossed the 30 moving average, 30 period moving average. So this thing has a lot of room. This thing could really go, has room to the upside. The fact that the 5 and 13 have now crossed over the 30. The 15 is still lagging, but that was because of the strong move down where it was basing right in this area. And this is Open Mic Friday, so if anybody in the room wants to turn the mics on and ask questions or have comments, you're welcome to. We've been pretty busy this morning so far, but we'll still try to work out any questions, and you're free to talk. Just put your hand up and let us turn your mic on for you.
Well, Al, if we ever have a lull, if you can just explain the difference between the two like impulsive moves that we have, like 0 ABC and then S1 2 3. You know how we do that?
Yeah. Let's see if we have one that we can show you here.
Because I know we started to do it on the
Actually, well, even like if you look over in this area here on the Aussie US, you can see we had a nice move down. Here's the move down. And then, so this would be, this move right here would be the impulse move. Just see if I can stop this here. And then we have, and then this move right here would be your ABC, A, B, C. And then we had the retrade, then we had the correction. Now the thing is, this was at the bottom of the move. So we actually had an ABC followed by another ABC. And we have, let's see, do we have divergence here? And we had divergence on this at the bottom. I think we did. I'll double check this. Had divergence here. This, and I like seeing the divergence on the 15-minute chart. That's usually on the 1 minute. It's not always very conclusive. And let's see, we had a. Actually, that did have a lower low. This really wasn't the divergence, I don't think. So here was the low, and here's where the other one. Yeah, this was not divergence. These are both going in the same direction, so that's not divergence. But after this move, then we had the let's see. Well, this would be the beginning of the wave would have to be, if this was the what we call the first of the wave. So once we had an ABC followed by an ABC, and then this would be wave 1 right here. This would be wave 2. This 3, 4, and then 5. So basically, let me get this down here. So then this would be wave 3. This would be wave 4. And then wave 5 is going to be somewhere up in here. Should be above wave 3, somewhere in that area. So this is really what we're looking at. But on a higher time frame, this whole move here, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move, let's just say this one was completed. Then you're looking at this is on a 15-minute chart. Now, if you were looking at a 4-hour chart, you might actually be seeing something like all of this being wave 1. And then you'd have a wave 2. Let's see if I can change the color of this here. Let's just go with that one here. So this would be wave 1, and then you'd have a wave 2 would be the retracement. But of that retracement, let's say if this was a 4-hour chart, you have your wave in your 5 wave in your first leg of your 4-hour chart. And you have so these would be 15 minutes. And then you come down, you have like an ABC coming down here. But this would be all of the bigger time frame. So basically, every time you have a leg in a smaller time frame, you usually have 5, a smaller time. This might be like in a 1-minute chart. You might have 5 in here, then you have 3 coming down. So basically what you're doing is just looking at the different time frames to help you decide which way it's going. I don't know if this is answering your question or not, or making things more confusing.
A little more confusing.
It's
I mean, I
more
kind of
confusing?
know it, but it's just like sometimes,
Yeah.
like when they switch, like I'm like, okay, are
Yeah.
we going to
So-
continue
so-
the other one, or are we going?
But basically what we're doing, let me just get it off the chart here. You have a 5, let's just say this is your 4-hour chart, and you have your leg 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Correct.
This is your 4-hour chart. In that 4-hour chart, you're going to get let me change the color of this. Let's make this one that color. So in this 4-hour chart, so this is a 4-hour wave, ABC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mm-hmm.
In your 15-minute chart, for example, or 1-hour chart, you have your wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. Whoops. And wave 5. That went up a little bit higher. So you have your 5 wave. In your higher time frame, you have 5 waves. And then on the retracement, you're going to have 5 waves. Or 3 waves. It's probably 3 waves on this as well. 1, A, B, C. And then it starts all over again.
Mm-hmm.
You get the picture?
Yep.
And so that's what we're really looking at sometimes. That's why I like looking at some higher time frames to see what's the big push on the higher time frame, and then see if you can get your 5 waves on your lower time frames for your pullbacks and your quick entries. And then on this one here, you'd have another you'd have another 5 wave. And that's the way it starts. That's how a lot of these patterns look. And then when you get these harmonics, a lot of times you'll see these smaller waves inside these bigger harmonics. Okay, so that's basically what we're looking at there.
Thank you.
And it's still sitting somewhat, and this thing's sort of slowed up a little bit.
Yeah, might not see a whole lot before 9:30, right?
And we have about another 20 minutes. Yep. Any other questions, comments? Anything anybody wants to add to the discussion? Like I said, this is a live trading room, and so we just have to discuss what we have as we come and see it. And sometimes there's some lulls in the conversation, but this is basically just what we use. We use the wedges for our basis for our technical analysis, but this is basically a room that's describing and learning technical trading, the technical analysis of trading. It's not artificial intelligence, it's human intelligence. I'm going to keep that on here. Put that back up. Here's the anchor. Here's the hit. Came back down, came up, retested the area right in here. It broke it. And I still think it looks like it still wants to go to the upside. Although being Friday, who knows if it's going to have enough push before the market closes over in Australia or not. We do have a nice little trend line coming up here. There's our box. I like this trend. I like this one, like this one here. This one's not really confirmed. I do like this trend right here. Here's basing. It's basically, this is a retest of this upper move. That's where all the basing came back in. It's just based, pulled back out again. Now this could be a head fake, but we'll just have to wait and see. If this basing will hold, it should go up higher. And I like the fact that it broke this trend line. This was a retest. This was the third hit. And it basically, when you get the third hit of a trend line, it either rejects it or it breaks it. And this one kind of broke it. It came back down, basing it. And that's why I still think this thing has room to the upside. But this in itself is a wedge right in here. If you draw this, this is basically it breaks, retest the trend line in a basis in here. And so it still needs to kind of break through the C area, which is where this thing kind of broke. So this is there's the wedge. I'll make it a little thicker for you so people can see a little bit better. And that's pretty much what we're looking at here. Right now it's back into the basing area. Any other questions? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this line with here and just flat top it across. So right now this needs to get broken again. But right now it's still back in the retest area. So we have a Aussie harmonic. Let's take a look at this harmonic on this Aussie and see what it says to say.
Yeah, maybe it'll help out a little bit in figuring out the direction.
And this came in about 917. So let's take a look at this. Here's the harmonic. This is off of that's a daily. Holy cow.
That's a big deal.
Is that, let me see here. Oh, is that 15 minute? There we go. That's better. I like that better. That's better. So basically what this is saying, actually this is saying is more likely to go short down to here to enter. Basically what this is saying is that it's a Gartley too.
It's 15 minute, right?
It's a 15 minute. But basically what it is, it drew the harmonic based on the C and then it projects the D. And here's where it's projecting the entry to come down. But right now it's still coming in, still trying to break out. And I don't see it going short. We're going to get into it short until we get this move right here and then break the trend line. So right now we have a little bit of, let's see here. So if it can break this trend line, then we're looking to come down here to enter to take it long back up again. But right now, this is not, right now it's still basing right in this area. That's why I still kind of like this 7254. That's all the way up to, no, 7254 is about this area right in here. Let's just see if there's anything on this lower time frame here. Still showing the C up in this area. And this would be basically right now we're still looking for it to get up here to this 72. Actually, it already did that. It could be a problem. But if it breaks this, we're looking at it to come down to retest the D. Or to fill the D area. So this is really the range where it is right now. So you can still see it coming up and retesting the C area before it comes on down. This could be basically your ABC move on that. Let me slide this over here. I'll just go ahead and redraw this. I'm just take everything off of this right now. I'll redraw that harmonic. And we had the X was at midnight. So we started the X of this harmonic. We started it at here, comes up to the high. B comes back down to this pivot right here, and then it landed the C right up here at the top. And then it comes down to the entry to go long on this would be having to wait all the way down to 72.35. And then what I do is I'll draw the X to B trend line. And extend that out. And we have the A to C trend line. And here's our area where we have lower highs and higher lows. And waiting to see what happens if it can break this. It's heading on down. Then we're looking at this move down here for the target right around the D area. And that shows an entry of about 72.35. I would say it's probably going to be right about in pretty much in line with this area right here. Just mark this as a retest area. And that's the way this thing would look on. And so right now it's sort of range bound. The question is, will it get back up to here or not? It's hard to say. This is why a lot of times you want to stay out of these areas like this until it gets until you get it. When you get to break, it's going to probably break and hit on down. And right now it's just going to be making lower highs and higher lows until it does. So I would say in this particular case, especially being on a Friday, I would be looking at if it gets back up to here, to get out of your trade. If it could go up and retest the C several times before it actually breaks down to the bottom. I've seen that happen quite a bit. Right now we had that bounce off of this 30 moving average, 30.62. And any other questions? Any other comments? Looks like everything just sort of went to sleep.
Dolls.
Probably waiting for the market to open, see where it's going to go.
Yep, I would agree completely.
It's only moved 4 pips in the last 20 minutes.
That is telling within
We
itself.
had all this activity right at 8 o'clock, 7:45, 8 o'clock area, and then everything just went to sleep. let's see, where was the alert on this one? This one was at 8 o'clock, I think.
The Aussie was at, yes, it was at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, so that'd be right in here. Yeah, let's see where we had draw our box over here. We'll just see how this all falls in time on place of where that harmonic is. Just another tool to help determine direction, help determine targets, things like that. It's based on something totally different than what a lot of people are looking at. You can see all the spacing right in here, how that just broke out, basically came back out, retested this. Now this could be, if that we were talking about these harmonic waves and these Elliott waves. Now this is on a 1 minute chart. Now this is on a 1 minute chart, but you can see where we had this strong move. Like here was the, actually this is, I'm not seeing the 3-5 wave in this, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's actually, I mean, it is, but it's not really, doesn't fall quite with the same. There's 5 waves, but the problem with this one is that your wave 1 is shorter than your wave. I'm thinking this one doesn't really follow the pattern very well, because wave 1 to 2 should be shorter than wave 2 to 3, and this not. So this is more of on the upper part of the. So that one doesn't really follow suit. This looks like a nice little A, B, C, B, C, and then possibly the retest. Now this could be a wave 1. This whole thing could be the wave 2. This could be the 3rd wave to retest that. And if we draw a stick, from this wave to here. And this is really what we do with our extensions. We draw the extension, and then wherever this thing ends up is where this 3rd wave would go, or further. And you'll see that how this fits out, where if I draw with the extension tool from here to here, you'll see that my 1 is right here. Basically does the same thing. But that depends on wherever this thing ends up. And I'm going to get out of this trade. Just based on the patterns that we're seeing here. And here is 9:30. Any other questions, comments? What I say is Friday, be careful. Keep your powder dry. Don't be too anxious to get into trades. And we'll see everybody on Monday.
All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for showing up, and have an awesome weekend.
Have a great weekend, everybody. God bless. Be well.